What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, and I'm coming back at you with another A.M.A. Ask Me Anything. But before we dive into that, let's roll the intro. All right, today's question is brought to us by Frederick, and he asks, on the opposite end of the spectrum, when do you know you're actually consuming too many calories while on a building surplus? It's hard to do on keto or carnivore, but still possible. All right, this is a great question. I'm constantly talking about the detrimental effects of eating too little, chronically undereating, so it's kind of refreshing to have somebody ask, on the opposite end of the spectrum, when do you know you're eating too much? And I've really tried to test the boundaries on this because everybody's going to be a little bit different. If y'all recall, I did a 6,000 calorie, it was supposed to be for 6 months, but I only was able to do it for 3 months because 6,000 calories for 3 months started kicking my butt. We're all going to have different degrees of maintenance intake. I did a video on that a while back. It's going to depend heavily on how much muscle mass you have, what your activity throughout the day is going to be like, your hormones, your genetics, lots of factors with regard to how many calories you can consume at a maintenance intake. If you start upticking your activity, you're going to be able to consume more calories without putting on more body fat. If you start, adding a bunch of lean muscle to your frame, you're going to be able to tolerate more calories as well. Muscles are basically calorie absorbers. When you're in a building phase and you're trying to optimize for building more lean muscle tissue, how do you know when you've hit your upper limit, your upper threshold from a caloric intake standpoint? The best way to really know is to track metrics outside of just the scale weight to begin with. So a lot of people have a psychological issue with seeing that number on the scale increase, especially if they've come from a period of eating less, trying to lose body fat. Reversing that and increasing the weight and seeing that number on the scale increase has some psychological implications. If you're trying to build more lean muscle tissue, it stands to reason that a good percentage of that increased weight could in fact be lean muscle tissue, which would be a positive thing. So don't just simply look at the increased scale weight as being a negative. However, there is a point of diminishing returns in which that scale weight is not going to be just simply more lean muscle mass. So speaking from my personal experience here, when I'm in a building phase, I'm trying to optimize for building more muscle tissue. I'm gradually increasing my training intensity and volume. I'm gradually eating more and more calories, more and more protein, more and more fat for the energy to fuel those increased workouts. And I'm really trying to push the envelope as to building as much lean muscle as possible. When you go into a surplus, you will inevitably build a little bit of body fat as well. That is okay. That's not a bad thing. When you're eating in a surplus, it kind of comes with the territory of building more lean muscle mass. You're going to have a little bit more body fat. That's not a bad thing in and of itself, but if you start hitting a point in which the increased weight is kind of tipping more towards the body fat than the lean muscle mass, you're probably going to want to scale back a little bit. You don't have to consume a massive surplus of calories in order to be at a significant surplus to build lean tissue, especially if you're taking in enough protein, enough nutrients, and having the right stimulus in your training. You don't have to eat 5,000 calories over maintenance to be able to build lean muscle mass. The best way to kind of mitigate that, in my opinion, is to consistently track metrics outside of just the scale weight, because the scale weight's not going to really show the full picture. Getting body scans done, doing body fat percentage tests with regard to caliper testing, in-body testing, DEXA testing, a variety of different ways to measure your actual body composition. Caveat on that, those aren't very, very accurate, especially when you're just trying to measure differences in lean mass over a relatively short period of time, so take what they say with a grain of salt. The best metric is honestly looking at your training. If you're able to go into the gym and progressively overload your training and you're able to push more weight, more volume, your perceived rate of exertion at the same weight is decreasing, so you're able to do like 315 pounds on the squat, for instance, is easier in 2 months than it was 2 months prior, then you can rest assured that you're building some more lean muscle mass, some strength improvements, some hypertrophy improvements. If you're able to see progressive overload take place in your training, then you can rest assured that you are actually building more muscle mass, because the muscle is what is improving those lifting metrics, not the body fat. So if you're able to track your training and see an improvement there, you can be confident that some of that weight difference in the scale is coming from more lean mass. If you start to see that scale weight uptick and the body fat percentage increase, and you're not really seeing a worthwhile improvement in your performance, then it stands to reason that a pretty good percentage of that increased weight is not coming from lean muscle mass. So when I'm in a building phase and I'm gradually titrating calories up, macros up, I'll make my training metrics the best proxy for progress. When I start to see those level off and plateau and not really anything change in that regard, but my weight continues to increase, then I can feel pretty confident it's probably coming from increased body fat, not lean mass. In that case, I'll hold macros and calories constant for a bit, try and stimulate something differently with my training, whether that's increasing my supersets, increasing my drop sets, doing more forced reps, something to mix it up a little bit and provide an additional stimulus while holding calories constant to see if that busts me through that plateau from a lean mass standpoint, and I can build more lean mass. And then if that results in increased progressive overload, then I can feel confident that, again, I'm building more lean muscle tissue. But again, let me stress the fact that you don't have to be in a massive surplus in order to build lean muscle mass. The main thing you need to do is measure your training statistics and your body composition and check the mirror. Take progress pictures. If you're gaining weights but you're looking leaner, you're looking more full in your muscles, you're able to move more weight in the gym, then you can be confident that the increased scale weight you're seeing is not all just coming from body fat percentage, and let that put your mind at ease. If it starts shifting in the other direction, there is definitely a point of diminishing returns in which more calories does not equate to more muscle mass. Then just simply be self-aware of that, be conscious of that, scale things back a little bit, hold the calories constant for a bit, let your body equalize before increasing them further. Thank you so much for the question, Frederick. I appreciate you, brother. You asked for some peanut butter bricks, so we've got those headed your way. Again, for anybody that does not know how these A.M.A videos work, there's a link in the description of this video. If you submit a solid question, I use your question on these videos, then you will be shipped some free keto bricks with a flavor of your choosing, and that's pretty much how this works. So thank you all again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.